Jai Shriman Narayana. Hello everyone, I am the Pauranika. Welcome to the 22nd episode of Sri Mahabharata as written by sage Vedavyasa. This episode is in continuation to the Sambhava Parva of Adi Parva, the birth of Karna. Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura were born in Hastinapura. Bhishma raised the boys as his own sons. He made sure that all the events of their lives, from naming ceremony to the initiation of their education, happen at right time. The birth of the boys brought great good fortune to the kingdom of Hastinapura. The crop grew well, the produce used to be tasty, the rains were timely, the trees bore plenty of fruits and flowers, the horses and elephants were strong, and the birds and animals too lived happily. The city expanded with hundreds of mansions resembling Devendra's capital Amaravati. There were many traders, architects, warriors and learned men in the city. In that kingdom, protected by the great Bhishma, there were no thieves and people followed the path of dharma, wishing well for others. The three brothers of Kuru lineage studied Vedas while following strict celibacy. By the time they entered their youth, they attained great skill in Dhanurveda, archery, Gadha Yuddha, wielding a mace, sword fight, horse riding and in taming elephants. While Pandu became the greatest archer of his time, Dhritarashtra's strength was unmatchable, and in all the three worlds, there is no person who understood and practiced dharma like Vidura did. As Dhritarashtra was blind, Pandu got the kingdom and he became the king of Hastinapura. One day, Bhishma discussed with Vidura about the marriages of the three of them. Vidura, Ma Satyavati, Vyasa Maharshi and I discussed about your marriages. For our lineage to expand like an endless ocean, we need to find ideal women. I heard that the girl from Yadu lineage is ideal for Pandu. Even Subala's daughter and the princess of Madra are great women from respectable families. What is your opinion about them? Bhishma asked Vidura. Father, you are our everything. Our father, mother, teacher, everything. Any decision of yours will be binding on us and will be respected by us. Vidura replied. I learned from our Brahmanas that the daughter of Gandhara king, Subala, prayed to the mighty Parameshwara and obtained a boon to have 100 children. Bhishma said to Vidura. Later, he checked and got a confirmation that the boon was indeed true and went to King Subala of Gandhara. The king was initially a bit hesitant as Dhritarashtra was blind. However, after taking the family, their honor and their behavior into consideration, he accepted the alliance. When Princess Gandhari learned that her father and mother decided to give her to Dhritarashtra, who is a blind man, she got a cloth, folded it and tied it to her eyes. I should not look at him and notice his disabilities, the great lady thought. Prince of Gandhara Shakuni accompanied his sister to Hastinapura. He was received graciously by Bhishma. After the events of the wedding were completed, he paid respects to Bhishma and Dhritarashtra and returned to his kingdom. After the eldest was married, Satyavati and Bhishma contemplated on the girl they should choose for the king. That woman was none other than the honorable, virtuous and blessed daughter of Kunti Bhoja, Kunti. There was an august king by name Sura in Yadu clan. His son was Vasudeva. He also had a beautiful daughter by name Prudha. Once, King Sura promised his cousin Kunti Bhoja that he would give his firstborn to him. Sura had a daughter first. As promised, he gave the daughter to his cousin for adoption. After being adopted by Kunti Bhoja, Prudha became Kunti. That is how the son of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna Paramatma, and the sons of Kunti, the mighty Pandavas, are related. When Kunti was still a child, she was assigned the task of receiving and serving the sages who visit their kingdom. One day, The fiery sage Durvasa, who was known for his anger and aggression, visited them, and Kunti had to serve him. The sage, who was a tough taskmaster, was overwhelmed by the dedication of the little girl. He, with his divine foresight, saw the disaster that would loom over her life after her marriage. He then called her and gave her a boon, a mantra using which she can summon any god and obtain a child with his blessing. One day, while playing in a garden, Kunti saw the sun in the sky, and with a childish curiosity, she said the mantra and summoned Lord Surya. By next moment, the sun god appeared in front of her. As he approached closer, her eyes popped in surprise. Suryadeva said, "Bhadra, as you called me, I arrived. I'm bound by the sage's mantra and came to bless you with a baby boy." "Deva, a learned sage granted me the mantra and just out of curiosity I tried it. Pardon me for my mistake and please go away," Kunti insisted. Then Surya said, "Kunti, I know about the boon given by sage Durvasa. Don't be scared. It is a sin to invoke a mantra and invite me without a cause." Surya, who was bound by the mantra, tried to convince her in multiple ways, but she kept rejecting him. She feared for the repute of her family and how the relatives might think of her. "Sundari, the son you would deliver will be born with golden earrings given by Ma Aditi and an armor blessed by me. That armor cannot be broken by any weapon. Your son will be a man of great pride. He would not listen to me too if my suggestion is not right. He would donate everything and anything to a Brahmana. He will have great self-respect. Princess, with my blessing, no sin will touch you." Suryadeva said so and blessed Kunti with a baby boy. The boy, a fine warrior, was born with an armor and a face shining with the glow of the earrings. And later, he attained the name Karna. Surya reinstated the virginity of Kunti and returned to his abode. Kunti, being a young girl, was worried and scared looking at the infant. She feared the criticism of her family. She then, with a heavy heart, put the boy carefully in a box and left it in the water. The box was found by a man named Atiradha and his wife Radha, and they took the boy in as their son. As the boy was born with wealth, they named him Vasushena. That boy grew up to be a fine warrior, well versed in all the Astra Vidyas. He used to pray to Surya from sunrise to sunset. He would donate anything to a Brahmana during his period of meditation. Once, Sun God appeared in his dream as a Brahmana and warned him that next morning Devendra would come to him in the guise of a Brahmana and ask him for his armor and earrings. "Do not give them to him," Surya warned. "Dvija, whether it is a Brahman or Indra, I cannot deny a donation that was asked of me. It is against my principle," Karna said. "In that case, you too ask him for Shakti that would destroy any weapon and kill anyone," Surya said. Next day, when Indra asked for the donation, Karna tore the armor from his skin and cut the earrings and gave it to Indra with folded hands. Devendra said, "I haven't seen any Deva or Danava or Yaksha or Gandharva or even a Rakshasa who could commit such feat. I am impressed by your might. Ask for a boon. I shall grant you." Then Karna said, "I want the divine weapon Shakti which can destroy the enemies." Devendra gave the Shakti to Karna and said that he can use the weapon on any Deva, Danava, Manushya, Gandharva, Naga or a Rakshasa for once. That is how what could have been Karna's greatest donation turned out to be a successful trade-off. He was named Vasashena at birth, and after peeling off the armor from his body, he got the name Karna. As he was the son of Vikartana, another name of Surya, he got the name Vaikartana. Hence, the Suryaputra got the name Vaikartana Karna. Thank you. Jai Sriman Narayana.